Wow. Jalen Hurts, I don't think that anybody should be afraid to face him as a quarterback now. I mean, four interceptions and two turnovers on one play. That was absolutely brutal. And we've been saying this about the Philadelphia Eagles all year. Where is their standard pass game? I mean, A.J. Brown has been pissed for months, it seems now. Jalen Hurts cannot get the ball out on time except for maybe once every six passes. You saw it happen on the Devontae Smith play where they faced third and long, and it looked, okay, maybe he's finally got it figured out. Nope. He goes and throws another pick. The Chargers 22, the Eagles 19. This is great news for the 49ers because they're in a potential race with teams like Philadelphia for better playoff seeding. And, if the season ended today, the 49ers would travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. And I really don't think, I'm going to try to put this phone on a tripod. Here we go. This is a lot better. I was in a rush here. We're still in Cabo, as you can tell. We just got done with dinner. We watched the game. I want to settle this into the tripod so we can talk and we can have a good serious discussion about Jalen Hurts. I know I have the ring light here. The lighting situation, everything is not the same as we have it back home, but I'm still working even on vacation because that was a crazy, crazy game. Good for Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Mike says that we're looking good. I'm just afraid the tripod's going to fall over at some point here. And I want the ring light to be in a better spot, maybe back here. Ooh, I could put it on top of the phone. How about this? Now, here, we even have the wires in the way. There, that's a lot better. Okay, now we're ready to talk. Now, if this falls, maybe it'll be a little bit of a viral moment, but whatever. If the postseason started today, though, the 49ers are the number 6 seed. Philadelphia, they've just dropped to 8-5. Let me see it. They were at the 3 spot. That would mean that the 49ers would travel to Philly for the NFC wildcard game. And yes, Philly's still in number 3 because Tampa Bay is the 4 as the NFC South leader at 7-6. So even at 8-5, Philly's still the 3. So the 49ers would head to Philadelphia, and I think the 49ers would win that game. I always pick quarterbacks, right? Especially if other things are relatively even. And I get that Philadelphia has a well-ranked defense, but just the past game against the Bears, they gave up nearly 300 rushing yards. So I cannot respect Philadelphia's defense as much anymore. If you get nearly 300 put on you on the ground by a Chicago team that did not do nearly that against the Green Bay Packers the week after, your defense, I mean, they lost a lot of respect, the Eagles did in that game against the Bears. And then perpetually you're dealing with this quarterback issue with Jalen Hurts, somebody who doesn't seem to be able to adjust the defenses from the pocket, somebody, kind of a glorified running back, right? He could run, he could do things physically, he has the tush push. I get it, he can squat 600 pounds or 700, but whatever it is, he can squat. But can he read a defense consistently and throw on time to not only beat opposing defenses from the pocket, but also keep his own receiver, A.J. Brown, happy? I don't think so. And if the 49ers got to go to Philly for the first round, I think Brock Purdy would pick the Eagles apart. And I don't think that Jalen Hurts would be able to just waltz over the 49ers the way that some of the good quarterbacks on the 49ers schedule have seen success against San Francisco. So Eagles dropped to 8-5. They look very, very beatable. And this bye week, I couldn't have gone better for the 49ers in terms of NFC results outside of the West. The NFC West matchups did not help San Francisco at all. The Rams won, obviously. The Seahawks won as well. But elsewhere, the 49ers got the help that we expected them to get. They moved up from 7-6, and the team at number 3, Philadelphia, did not look good at all against the Chargers. How about Justin Herbert today, running the football? I mean, it looked like Kaepernick running some of the read options. That's what Mike texted me. I know that they've got Harbaugh, the Greg Roman Harbaugh thing in LA. The Chargers just don't have an offensive line. Literally everyone is hurt in LA up front. So I think that they decided, against this Philly pass rush, because we know that Philly can still get after the quarterback. We just gotta we just gotta run the quarterback. Like when push came to shove, Herbert had to tuck that ball and run. I'm actually really curious to see the final stats. I got the laptop open here so we can see the final rushing stats for Justin Herbert. He threw for 139 and he rushed for 66. So 10 carries, 66 yards with a broken hand, right? Super impressive that Justin Herbert was able to win this game for the Chargers in a way that did not involve his arm. You had to do that with that offensive line against this Philadelphia defensive front. The Chargers had only 275 total offensive yards, and they only averaged 3.9 yards per play, which is not good. So, the fact that Philly outgained them by nearly 100 yards, had 5.5 yards per play, the Chargers only 3.9, and the Eagles found a way to lose, yes, that's on Jalen Hurts. You need a quarterback, first and foremost, who can manage a game. Jalen, last year he was managing these games for Philadelphia. He wasn't turning the ball over. You could trust him generally when he had the ball. I didn't think he was all that dynamic from the pocket. I don't think that he was going to pick apart opposing defenses, like a surgeon, like a Tom Brady or a Brock Purdy or one of the very good quarterbacks from the pocket would. But I at least trusted Jalen Hurts last year. I've watched the Eagles several times this season. It is impossible to trust Jalen Hurts. And for a team that won the Super Bowl in blowout fashion at the start of this calendar year, that is a tremendous fall from grace. I mean, the Eagles were the team to beat entering this season. And the fact that you can't trust their quarterback, the fact that he's turning it over twice in one play, 21 of 40, 240 yards, a 31.2 rating. The fact that it's gotten to this for Jalen Hurts against the Chargers defense that's good, but is not a world-beating defense, that only increases the wide-open nature of the NFC. Over Jalen Hurts' previous 28 games, he had 692 pass attempts and only 3 interceptions. So this is to my point. You usually were able to trust Jalen Hurts with the football. Today, he had 40 pass attempts and 4 interceptions. So 1 every 10 pass attempts was an interception. Justin Herbert tonight ended the game with a 68.3% pressure rate, the 6th highest in a game over the last 10 seasons. So the Chargers couldn't block anybody. You got to give credit to the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line for pressuring Herbert 68.3% of the time. But you also have to give credit to the Chargers for orchestrating the game plan to beat that pressure, despite the fact that they had a Swiss cheese offensive line. Herbert scrambled on 20% of his dropbacks. He took up sack on 17.1% of his dropbacks. Wow. He only passed on 64% of his dropbacks. That was the lowest of his career. Last season, Philly ran the ball really, really effectively. That obviously is why they were able to shield Jalen Hurts. This year, that run game has not been nearly as effective. I can give you the year-over-year EPA for the Eagles, but obviously with Saquon Barkley, you think that you've got a multi-dimensional running back that can give you strength on both the ground and through the air. Just hasn't been the case for Philly this year. The offensive line is still solid, but I just don't think that Jalen Hurts is providing a consistent enough passing threat from the pocket to counteract stacked boxes, aggressive run blitzes against the Eagles. I just think that there's a formula to beat the Eagles, and it's basically make Jalen Hurts beat you from the pocket with his arm. And the league never was able to quite get the Eagles with their backs up against the wall like that last season. And this year they have. And now it's 2 straight games that Philadelphia has not been able to do nearly enough offensively to get the job done. And it's two big losses for the Eagles, who probably are still going to win that NFC East, but that's one of the weaker divisions in all of football. I just don't know what the playoff sustainability of this team is with Jalen Hurts playing as poorly as we have seen. All right, so the rushing offense this year, I'm opening up Ben Baldwin's site. Early in the season, we saw big-time struggles from Saquon Barkley and the run offense in their efficiency stats. and I don't think that it's improved much. I don't want to give you guys raw yardage. I want to give you guys the actual rush EPA. The Eagles this year rank, I can't even find them. Oh my goodness, 21st this year in rush EPA. Rushing success rate for Philadelphia is also number 21. So number 21 in rush EPA and rush success rate. The 49ers, for perspective, ever since they got George Kittle back, they're number 5 in rushing success rate with Christian McCaffrey. And it's not been a great season running the football, but since getting Kittle back, number 5 in success rate, number 1 in EPA, number 8 in EPA, the Eagles' run game is number 21. That's just not going to cut it with Jalen Hurts, who's a limited quarterback there. You know, everybody talking about Brock Purdy this, Brock Purdy that. Oh, he's limiting the 49ers. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the game. He can actually beat you from the pocket even if he doesn't have a run game. Jalen Hurts very obviously can't do that. I mean, the limiting factor in Philly is the QB, and it was on very, very ugly display for the Eagles tonight. Mike is saying Madden curse for Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. I just think that this is a defensive evolution that's happened. I think the defenses watched tape all season long, all offseason long of the Philadelphia Eagles. They said, hey, we think that Jalen Hurts is at least a tick slow getting rid of the football. We think that he's a glorified running back. We're going to force Jalen Hurts to beat us with his arm. We're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. And you see it in the offensive splits of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not running efficiently because defenses are stopping them, and the pass offense is going to need to be at least in the top 8, given how much attention defenses are forcing against the run game, and the Eagles are number 12, and that's going to be dropping. I mean, the Ben Johnson, the coach of the Chicago Bears, literally the other day said, we are winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it, which was a clear shot at his quarterback, at Caleb Williams. And the Bears can run the ball, we know that. The Bears' passing offense ranks number 13 in EPA. The Eagles are number 12, and I think they're going to drop underneath Chicago in terms of pass EPA because of the 4 Jalen Hurts interceptions today. So wrap your heads around that. Philadelphia's pass offense is going to rank worse than Chicago's pass offense. There's a reason why I don't think the 49ers should be that afraid of Chicago. It's because their quarterback is a lot worse than Brock Purdy, I think, and Mac Jones. There's a reason the 49ers probably shouldn't be that afraid of Philadelphia. It's because their quarterback has been significantly worse than Brock Purdy and also Mac Jones. The 49ers have 2 QBs this year in the top 11 of EPA and completion percentage above expectation, the composite. Purdy's number 5, Mac Jones is number 11. So while we talk about teams like the Bears and the Eagles struggling at the quarterback position, the 49ers have 2 who are better than the starters of those teams. And nowhere was that on better display than at the ends of both the Bears and the Eagles games this weekend. You saw Caleb Williams throw the interception against the Packers, and then you saw Jalen Hurts throw the interception to seal the game, his 4th of the game to seal the game in favor of the Chargers and the 49ers' former coach, Jim Harbaugh. So Philadelphia drops to 8-5. I'm going back to the standings here. We can go back to the conference standings. I know I'm not putting anything up on the screen today. We're doing a much more impromptu live here from Cabo before we leave back tomorrow to the Bay Area. But the Eagles are still in charge in the East. The door is at least slightly open for the Dallas Cowboys, who are 6-6-1. If Philadelphia continues collapsing, and we know Dallas is a better QB, Dak Prescott, than Jalen Hurts. So if Dallas somehow sneaks back into this, I know the Lions' loss was damaging. You could theoretically see a first-round game between the 49ers and the Cowboys. Again, if the playoffs started today, it'd be 6 San Francisco against 3 Philadelphia, but the playoffs are not starting today. There's going to be a whole lot of football between now and the beginning of the postseason. The 49ers play the Titans, likely to move to 10-4. Then the 49ers play the Colts, who, by the way, are in contact with Phillip Rivers. We just saw the Chargers play, of all teams. Phillip Rivers is 44. Back in 2023, when the 49ers were playing the Eagles, of all teams, The if they would have won that NFC Championship game, because Brock Purdy got hurt, if they would have somehow won that championship game, the plan was to sign Phillip Rivers, who at the time was, 41 years old? And he would have been the 49ers quarterback in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, it didn't happen. Phillip Rivers officially retired just this past off season. So I thought that we wouldn't hear his name again. But I joked when the Colts lost Daniel Jones, and when they also reported a knee injury for Riley Leonard, the rookie backup, the knee injury. He's questionable for this next week. And obviously Anthony Richardson is on injured reserve with a broken orbital bone, the eye socket bone. I joked that the only thing that could save the Colts is 2022 Brock Purdy. You know, everybody's saying the Colts are done. I'm saying the Colts are done. But if they could just get that third or fourth quarterback, a seventh-round pick out of the draft to come out of nowhere and play at close to an MVP level, maybe the Colts could still resurrect this disastrous turn that their season has taken. But I don't think that Brock Purdy's walking through that door, but maybe 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is going to walk through that door. There's a chance that we see Purdy against Phillip Rivers on December 22nd, 2 Monday nights from now. This Monday night game in 2 weeks. There's a chance we're going to see that. That would be absolute cinema, 49ers and Colts. Either way, the 49ers are going to be favored for that game. They'll probably also be favored against the Bears on December 28th for the simple reason that the 49ers have a better QB than the next three teams that they're facing. Purdy's better than Cam Ward. Purdy's better than whoever the Colts throw out there. If it's Phillip Rivers, definitely. Purdy's going to be better than Caleb Williams. If the 49ers can hold serve, they will enter the January 4th season finale against the Seattle Seahawks with a potential chance to earn that number 1 seed. And that's going to be dependent on the Rams losing at least one game, and they play the Lions and they play the Seahawks over the course of the next 2 games. And it's going to be dependent on the Packers losing at least one game. And Green Bay plays Denver, and then they play Chicago. So this is about to get extremely fun. What you saw on the field today at SoFi, I thought was epic. Congratulations to the Chargers, by the way. They improved to 9-4. They're not going to win the West because Denver is at 11-2. I know the Chargers might still have an opportunity to, like a slight little window, but Denver is winning on a week-in, week-out basis. Maybe they do lose to Green Bay, so it further opens the door for the Chargers. But LA, likely a wild card team. They have the same record as the 49ers. So Jim Harbaugh, Kyle Shanahan, both at 9-4. That's interesting in the AFC, but the NFC is where, I mean, this is truly stacked, truly loaded, truly compelling. And the 49ers are in now for what's going to be one of the more memorable 4-game stretches of the entire Kyle Shanahan tenure. I would say the most compelling, definitely 3-game stretch of the Shanahan tenure to finish this regular season after they get done with this Tennessee game. Because Indy, if they're throwing Phillip Rivers out there, the Bears with Caleb Williams, whatever the Bears bring, I mean, Ben Johnson against Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, Dennis Allen, the 2 defensive play callers, that's going to be awesome. And then obviously 49ers Seahawks on January 4th. I mean, this season is unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And this game that we watched tonight, just a perfect prelude to the final month of this season. In the past 20 seasons, quarterbacks who have completed under 50% of their passes, had fewer than 150 passing yards, and were sacked 7 or more times were 0-14. I mean, this is insane. Justin Herbert is the first quarterback to win since Charlie Batch in 2000. So I'm guessing that's Detroit Lions quarterback Charlie Batch in 2000 against Tampa Bay, with a completion percentage of under 50%, fewer than 150 passing yards, and taking over 7 sacks. That's how bad the Chicago the Chargers offensive line was today. And again, that's how bad Jalen Hurts was today. If you cannot quarterback your team to a victory where the other QB against the team, if you cannot quarterback your team to a win against the team where the other QB couldn't even throw for 150 yards and was sacked over 7 times, you're doing something seriously wrong. And in the case of Jalen Hurts, that serious issue today was 4 turnovers or 4 interceptions and 2 turnovers on 1 play. He threw the interception. The defender fumbled. Hurts recovered the fumble and then fumbled it himself. Absolutely brutal. Philadelphia's got to be devastated because they don't have a quarterback to take them all the way this year. Last year, Jalen Hurts was good enough because they could actually run the ball. This year, they're number 21 in run offense. I don't care who they traded for on the defensive side of the ball. I don't care how many times they sacked Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts just threw it all back, threw it up. Either fumbled it or threw it back to the other team today. And the game had a very fitting ending in that regard. All right, we're going to flip the camera here, and we're going to take one last look at the resort in Cabo. So it's about to get a little bit darker. We could spin it this way, and let's take a look. There it is at nighttime. Beautiful. Happy that you guys joined me. Thought we'd go about 20 minutes, wrap up Eagles and Chargers. Good news for the 49ers is that NFC is getting to a place where it really, really is anyone's ball game. Even the defending champs look very, very beatable. It's all about who has the best quarterback at the end of the day. And the 49ers, they have a rising stock in that QB room. I can't say the same about the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles might be going to Cancun, or they'll be going right here. They could go to Cabo as well. We'll talk to everybody soon.